Good afternoon to all our friends and fans. This is Mr Virardi, and today, my dear friends, I'm very proud, I'm very happy, and very honored for two reasons. First and foremost, because for this 100th Ask Virardi celebratory episode, I have my first ever mentor, my friend, and a man I look up to, my dad, Rolando Virardi. Dad, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
The same here.
The second reason, my dear friends, that I'm very proud and happy and honored is because we have managed to complete 100 episodes of Ask Virardi. That's 100 weeks that we've been serving our friends and fans, asking questions and giving answers back. Let me tell you what we have installed for you today. My dad will answer more than 10 questions that have come in, and there are other questions coming in. For example, our friend Stathis Stasis is the first person to join us, and he's saying, I'm looking forward to watch the mentor of my mentor live. This is Stathis Stasis' dad. He's an insurance agent and a good friend, and also one of my mentees in the coaching session.
Very good, very good.
Dear friends and fans, just know Athinodoros Menzies just came in. I will read your question later on, Athinodoros. Just note that today I'm handing out two perfect gifts, as I call them. The two perfect gifts are the following. I'm offering a 2-hour coaching session with Mr Virardi to anybody who interacts with us today, responds, sends a message, shares these episodes, and I would ask you to share this episode because I want my dad's advice to touch many more people. So I will be honored if you share this episode. And secondly, I'm offering a Facet 5 psychometric test. This is a psychometric test that I'm giving out to my coaching mentees, which looks at 5 pillars: your will, your control, your energy, your affection, and also the emotionality that controls all of the 4 that I previously mentioned. So that we're going to have 2 winners at the end of the day. I'm going to announce them after the episode is finished. You can see them, you can see it live, and I can send it to you, and you will see who our winners are. Christina Hileos has just joined us. Hello to both. Honored to have this guest today. I am honored as well, Christina. Thank you very much for tuning in. And dear friends and fans, let's start with our first question of the day, which comes from lawyer Philippos Aristodelos, who's also an excellent musician, and he's asking the following. How different are you and your dad in reality as characters, Philippos is asking, and as personalities? Do you think that in an alternative universe, you could switch roles? For example, your dad could become a coach and a motivational speaker? Well, Philippos, that's a great question, my friend. And let me turn it over to my dad. Dad, Philippos is asking how different are we in reality as characters and personalities? And then he's asking if we can switch roles, if you would ever become a coach and a motivational speaker. The floor is on your side.
Thank you for having me on your program today, which is a historical one, being the 100th session. And I need to wish Michael happy years to come because it's his name day, holiday today.
Thank you very much, Dad. Thank you. Yes, it's also my name then, guys. I forgot that one.
As regards the differentiations or similarities of characters between me and Michael, this is a judgment that should be done by third parties. Although deep inside I can evaluate these differences, I still prefer third parties to judge. As regards the second part, if we could change jobs, I must say that I am 80 years old. I have started this company when I was 24 years old, and this was my dream, which I believe I achieved successfully, and I will never change my job. Thank you.
Thank you. Dad, thank you very much for this lovely answer. Welcome to Konstantinos Ilias. He says legend. I think he's talking about you, Dad, not about myself. Thank you, Konstantinos. Let me say, when it comes to how different we are with my dad in reality, I would say that I consider my dad to be an all-round merchant, as we say, an all-round player. I consider him to be an all-round merchant. He's a person who has managed to build relationships with companies and individuals from all around the globe, has brought brands to our family business Virardi that we could have never dreamed of. He has turned every rock upside down. He has turned every opportunity or every difficulty into an opportunity. And if I have to be honest with myself, I am not that similar to my dad. I know where my strengths lie. That's why I have chosen a solo career, not as a manager, but mainly as a motivational, educational trainer and speaker. So this moves us to our second question of the day, Dad. It comes from a personal friend of mine. Her name is Maria Galazzi, and Maria is asking the following question. You can check it out as well. What are the most important lessons that you have learned in life? So Dad, please answer to Maria, what are the most important lessons you have learned in life?
Maria, thank you for your question. In life, in 80 years, the lessons I have learned are many and different. However, one lesson I feel is very important is to educate yourself, whether in schools, in universities, or in real life. Having the education, the other thing I would like to say that one in life should be positive. It should be positive, you should be hardworking and very honest towards yourself and others.
Excellent advice from my dad. So be hardworking, be positive, and also educate yourself. Let me say that I have learned some lessons in life as well coming from my dad. And the biggest lesson I learned, even though I learned many lessons, is the following. My dad gave us a note, both to my brother Giovanni and myself, back on the 9th of September 2009, when Virardi was undergoing one of its best years ever in terms of sales. And the note read the following: nothing is too big not to fail, and nothing in life is permanent. At the time that this was given to us, I couldn't understand the meaning behind it. But a few years after that, maybe my dad had the foresight. The Cyprus Airways, which had a monopolistic situation, has gone outside of the business map. They have collapsed. The number one registered company in the registrar's office, which was Lagi Bank, is no longer with us, as well as the number one or the biggest supermarket chain, Orphanidis Group, is no longer with us. So nothing is too big not to fail, Dad, and nothing, as you said, in life is permanent. Anything can change in the blink of an eye. Let me welcome my personal friend Evis Zenios, who has appeared 3 times on the show up to now. He has the lead. Happy name day, Michael, Evis says. Thank you, Evis, very much. People listen to this man, respect, Evis Zenios is saying, talking about you, Dad. And we have a friend from Israel, if I'm not mistaken, inspiring words. Good morning from London, right from London. Excellent. That coming to the frame, please. Let's go to our third question of the day. It comes from another of my mentees and a very good friend, Stefanos Konstantinou. Dad, Stefanos is also the managing director of Mefal, which is a pharmaceutical trading company in Larnaca. And he's asking the following: dear Mr. Virardi, what is the one principle that you have embedded to Michael? Has this principle changed over time? Will you do the same for your grandson Rolando and for your other grandchildren? So Dad, the floor is yours.
Well, a principle is a principle, and it never changes. The principle one should bear in mind in all situations, it should be that one should be honest, positive, hardworking. Although change is nowadays a constant basic principle, the principle, as I said before, always remain the same, and one should follow this because it will live in life, it will leave a good name for you, because nothing else you can take with you when you go. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. If I can say which is the one principle that I feel that my dad has embedded in me is regards to values. Stand by your values, fall for your values, believe in your values. So thank you very much, Dad, for this.
You're welcome.
Question number 4 comes from Haralambos Iasonos. Just to let you know, Haralambos Iasonos is a student in the United Kingdom, and he's the son of Iasonos, the friend of my brother Giovanni Virardi. Haralambos is asking the following. Dear Michael, after watching your TED Talk, A Good Boy, I would like to ask the following. How difficult was it for you to step back and decide to leave your father's company? And how Mr. Rolando reacted towards your decision? Let me say that because the first part of the question goes out to me,
yes.
I will leave your reaction in a while.
Yes.
And the question is how difficult it was for you to step back and decide to leave your father's company. First of all, my dear friend Haralambos, I would say it was difficult because I was in a double comfort zone. The first comfort zone was staying within my dad's business, as you said, which was a safety net. My dad was and is very successful, so staying in a comfort zone and a safety net was the best thing to do under the conditions. And secondly, the second safety and comfort, which was I was a bit uncomfortable, was because I was going into uncharted waters. I didn't know if I would succeed or fail, but deep down inside, I had a strong belief that I would go for my dream, that I would reach for my goals. And even though I would be standing alone, I knew that behind me I had a person like my dad to guide me. I had friends like yourselves to help me, and I also had what my dad previously mentioned, the biggest weapon of all, education, which I think is very important. So Dad, how did Mr. Rolando react towards your decision to leave the company?
Well, to be honest, the feeling was double-sided. I felt happiness and I felt sorrow. Happiness because I realized Michael had his own brain, his own mind, his own decision, and sorrow because the company lost a very valuable asset who could promote and market our products efficiently and usefully. However, because I believe in every person to have his own personality and to make up his own mind, and in my business I like to allocate authority to my heads of the departments to do whatever they want to do, provided at the end of the day they have to explain and to succeed in what the targets they put forward. So the decision of Michael shows a man with his own brain, his own personality, and follows his own dream. I didn't want to have Michael live my dream, and I was happy that he's happy now living his own dream.
Wow, thank you, Dad. This is very touching. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Hello to Phidias Savidis, Alexia Vlachos Kolokasidis. Thank you very much for your wishes on my name day. And also to Konstantinos Ilias. Konstantinos Ilias is asking a question of our script, Dad. It's not in your notes. This question hasn't been sent before. Michael, did you grow up wanted to be like your dad? Was your dad your idol? To answer the second part of your question, yes, my dad was my idol. And did I want to grow up to be like my dad? I wanted to grow up and be a person or a man with the values of my dad. Not exactly like my dad, but a person who has the same values as my dad. Thank you very much. Let me see if we have any more questions coming from people. Excellent. Let's move on to our next question. The next question comes from Katerina Kyprianou. And I also marry this question to what Athinodoros Mensis has asked. Which are the 2 attributes that make a successful entrepreneur these days? Katerina Kyprianou is asking, and Athinodoros Mensis is asking the following. Do you believe that there is some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur? If yes, what are the 3 pieces of advice that you would give to young graduates who want to become entrepreneurs? So that, my question to you is the following. If you can come into the frame, what are the 2 attributes that make a successful entrepreneur these days? And you're answering 2 questions, both Katerina's question and both Athinodoros' question.
Well, Katerina and Theodoros, thank you for your questions.
Athinodoros.
Athinodoros,
Yeah.
thank you for your questions. I believe that in life, when you receive the education, it necessarily enhances your view about life and business. And the thing that will make you successful is once you set your target, it leaves the passion to follow about your work, the enthusiasm, and through education you will be able to see what is happening around you, the environment, the changes that have to be made. You have to be able to realize that to be successful in whatever you do, you have to find out what the customer needs and be able to serve its needs. One of the principles I hear is God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, therefore use them in that proportion. Listen to what the customers are saying, because through what they are saying to you is telling you what they need to buy. Therefore, to be successful, you have to be able, through education which you acquired in your previous years, you have to be able to find exactly what you should do to be successful.
Excellent. Thank you very much to George Gettys for his suggestion to move the clip a bit backwards. I had it forward so I can scroll through the questions. Happy name day, my dear Michael, from Andreas Antoniou. Thank you, Andreas, for your wishes. Jogesh Jain, he's here from India, if I'm not mistaken. Superb, he says. He likes the episode. Thank you, Jogesh. That, if I can offer my 5 cents on what makes a successful entrepreneur these days, I would have to say that it's the same ingredient, first and foremost, that made a successful entrepreneur in the old days: passion. You have to have the passion and enthusiasm, which stems from the Greek word entheo, the God within. It's contagious. When you are passionate and enthusiastic, the customer, you offer a competitive advantage from your competition, and the customer appreciates that. I think this is something you did not instill in me, you did not instill in yourself, you were born with it.
Yes.
Perhaps because you're practicing your passion, what you love doing. Secondly, I would agree with my dad. You need to follow the trends, technological advancements, pest, political, environmental, social and technological changes that are happening. An entrepreneur should be able to forecast what's happening. Today we have Obama as president. Tomorrow we might have one of the 2 candidates. It can be Mr. Trump or it can be Mrs. Clinton. So you have to see what might happen. In the event of Trump going onto power, maybe the dollar loses its value and maybe the euro and the sterling pound gains. So you need to forecast and to understand and to see what might happen in the near future. We used to be consuming information on our laptop. Now 70% of the information we consume is on our mobile device. So you need to make your website mobile friendly and other things that are very important in order for you to understand how the world moves forward, in order for you to move forward and to be a successful entrepreneur. So that the next question comes from Sergio Sergiu. Again, one of my students one of my mentees. He's asking a double question. First and foremost, if you had the chance to start your business life all over again, what would you do differently this time, Mr. Virardi?
Well, I have to go a bit back in my history life. I was born in 1937. I lost my dad when I was 14 months old. I managed, with the assistance of my mother, to study, and I graduated the American University of Beirut. I wouldn't do anything different in my life because this was my dream. However, I could do something in this pattern which I choose to work in. I could be more successful, and I will avoid all possible mistakes I made in these 64 years I have been working. Thus, without changing my dream, thus with being in the same line, I would have been more efficient and more correct when I reach my age of 80 now. Thank you.
So when you lose, don't lose the lesson.
That's
Excellent. My friend Kyriakos Hadjoulas has joined us. Happy name day, coach. It's an honor listening to these wise words from your dad. This is priceless. Thank you, Dad. Hadjoulas Kyriakos is sending his wishes. Prodromos Stylianou saying happy name day. Thank you, Prodromos. And Haralambos Iasonos, whom you have answered the question, says thank you for your answer. Amazing information and also happy name day.
Thank you.
I don't know that if because you are good looking or if because it's our 100th episode, but we have the most views up until today and we're growing stronger by the minute. Sergio is asking another question. Dad, what would be one single advice you would give to any businessman that is starting a new company today? One single advice, Dad, one single advice that you would give to any businessman that is starting a business today.
Well, having lived all these years and looking at the television every day, when you see so many refugees running around to find accommodation, shelter, a new business, a new life, I would say the one single advice I would give is everybody should have his own education. Education, nobody can steal it from you. Whether you are a refugee, whether you are successful or not successful, and if you are not successful, you learn the lesson, and through education you start another business, another line. You will never lose. Therefore, all the riches I had, it was not the money that I wanted to leave my children and my grandchildren, but I wanted them to enrich their brain, to have the education necessary to stabilize them and establish them in their future life. Therefore, education, education, education.
That I will not add anything to what you have said. I truly agree with you. Thank you very much for the opportunities you have given both my brother Giovanni and myself for helping us being educated and sending us to schools around the globe and paying a fortune for it. The next question comes from my friend Stathis Stasis, who's an insurance agent, and he's asking the following. Dear Dad, dear Mr. Virardi, what do you value most in life? What do you value most in life?
But in life, one should value health and happiness with your own family. To be honest to yourself and be honest to other people. I believe this is basically what will remember people for you when you pass away.
Excellent. Your legacy, Dad?
Yes.
Welcome, Marios Haralambos. He says, excellent indeed, education is the foundation. And Kyriakos Hadjoulas says, I would like to ask Mr. Rolando Virardi the below, how important is to have patience?
It is very, very...
Kyriakos Hadjoulas, how important is to have patience?
No, Kyriakos, patience is everything, both in business and in life. I would say there are nations who achieve what they achieve, people who achieve what they achieve by being patient and polite. Without patience, you cannot achieve anything.
That, if I may ask you, which nation do you think has the most patience of all? Is patient and it's working its way towards the world and making its strategy, I don't know, in a patient way?
Well,
since you talk about nations.
Well, I believe that the number one people who have this patience are the English. The English,
the British in general?
The British in general, yes. The British, they have this talent to listen to their government, to be patient, and I believe with their patience and brain, they govern the world. It's not those who have most money, it's those who have most patience and correct patience.
Okay, so they take their time, they're patient, and they wait for their opportunity.
Look what they have done to us in Cyprus. The English have an opinion about the Greek Cypriots and they have an opinion about the Turkish Cypriots. When it's critical and it comes to the point where you need somebody to help you, they always help the Turks.
Okay, and that's your opinion. Okay, very good. My dear friends, the next question comes again from Stathis, but Stathis, I think my dad has answered this question. Mr. Virardi, what do you advise young people to do in order to ensure their future? So if I may answer the question, education, education, and education.
Right.
Education can be consumed in a university or online, anywhere else through experience in life, correct?
Correct.
Our friend Panagiotis Mavroudis has just joined that. He says, happy name day, Michael, and he has a question for you, Dad.
Yes.
His question is the following. It just came now online. Dear Mr. Virardi, what if sometimes you feel like you lack passion or simply some energy about your work? What do you advise? If you lack passion or the energy to complete your work, what do you advise?
Well, if you have passion, energy follows.
Correct.
If there are times when you reach a late stage like me, energy is naturally diminishing. However, you can sit, you can rest, you can think, and patiently you can find a solution. Also, I need to say that when you reach this age or you lose this energy, as you say, money has no utility to a person of this age, but time has.
Excellent reply. Money has no utility to a person my father's age, but time has. You can see my dad is a bit sentimental, and that's what makes him very genuine. That's one of the things I love about you, Dad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evis Zenios, I hope they are watching the video from Switzerland. I didn't want to get politically involved, but knowing my dad, he speaks his mind, dear Evis. The next question, dear Dad, comes from all the way from Australia, from our friend Michael Alvanos. He has a double question, and perhaps if we don't have any questions, we're closing with these ones. When should you ever delegate customer service and care? Should a company delegate customer service and care to somebody else, to another company, or they shouldn't?
Well, this is a commercial decision.
Correct.
A very commercial decision. However, if you are delegating authority and you maintain the control of the company, you should be able to exercise control to whom you allocate this authority.
Yes, correct.
If you decide to allocate and delegate to another company, this is a commercial question. Correct. If, for example, I would sell 100% of my company to the other company I want to delegate authority, I have no role to play in it. If I have a certain percentage, I will act accordingly.
Thank you, Dad. Michael Albanos, if I can give you my opinion on your question, when should you ever delegate customer service and care? I would say that customer service and care is the new sales. I would never have delegated customer service and care, except if it's a call center, and I would train them first and know that they are responding exactly to the guidelines that I want them to respond, like many companies are taking their production, car production abroad, and other companies, low-cost manufacturers, low-cost destinations are producing, but always according to their standards. So I would never ever delegate customer service and care, especially in a face-to-face interaction. Never. Can I build a service business without being in that country? Well, Michael Albanos, I would say that you have managed to build a service business without being in the country. Michael Albanos is promoting cards. You can send a card anywhere in the world you like, and you just send Michael Albanos your message, your address, the address that you would like it to be delivered, and a beautiful card. And it's also personalized, can be Christmas, can be a thank you card, can be delivered directly to the other person's doorstep. We have another question from Evis Zenios. I knew he would ask a question. Dear Mr. Rolandos, you should be very proud of your sons and feel very proud for what they have achieved all these years. We all learn from you and Michael Virardi. Thank you very much, Evis.
Thank you, Evi.
Prodromos Stilianou, what can one do when money gets in the way of starting a new business with the economic crisis we are dealing with? I am a music therapist. So Prodromos is asking that, what one can do when money gets in the way. For example, like yourself, when you started with 5 Cyprus pounds many years ago, what do you do when you don't have money? What do you have? How can you build a business without money?
I believe that in this world, many people have started businesses without money or with very few money. As Michael said, I started my business with the total amount of 5 Cyprus pounds. I created a commission agency and I graduated, built up one product after the other, looking at what we need in Cyprus.
So you created a commission agency because you couldn't afford to have stocks?
Yes. So I looked at Cyprus reality and I saw, what do we have in Cyprus? We have sun, we have sea, we have grapes and wines. So in all these three, I started my business getting involved in all of these 3 lines on a commission basis. I offer equipment to the wineries, to Kio, to Soda, to Loel, from which I imported from Italy on a commission basis.
And plates and cutlery
then
to the hotels.
I went into the hotel catering industry. We brought in plates, glasses, everything.
Tabletop
Products and machinery. And this way I have created gradually an amount which I kept and I invested in other lines of business. So Virardi came to be one of the biggest and best companies in Cyprus about this line of products. This is the way. The way is not having all the money from your dad or from your family. The way is to have a good idea looking around you, what the customers in Cyprus or wherever you are,
or globally,
globally, what they need. You have to be successful, you have to realize what are the needs of the customers. And if you are honest and reliable, the customers will come to you, even at higher price.
That with this we're going to close, and I would like to thank you for coming on the 100th celebratory show. And I would have to tell you that you have given me the greatest gift that anyone could give another person. You believed in me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear friends and fans, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. And we'll be back next Monday at 2 p.m. with our live streaming show of our 101 episode. Thank you very much.